Alright guys, we're back with another waiver wire video so I can help you find the best and most important players to add to your teams. There are lots of really good options this week, but before we get into it, if you guys are not already, please subscribe to the channel down below. I know a lot of you guys that watch do not subscribe. This is my call to you. Please subscribe. Helps me a lot. Also, make sure you drop this video a like, sound off in the comments, and memberships are open where you guys can ask me personalized advice about your fantasy baseball teams. Also, a special shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. And for anybody new here in this weekly waiver wire video, the first section is the big list where I have 5 deep, dense player profiles. And then after that, we have breakout sections that can help you based on whatever kind of league you're in. There's a shallow league section, there's a closer section, there's a section on players to stash, whether they be in the minor leagues or injured right now, followed by a deep league section, and then players you can drop. But all right, let's get into it. The first player on the big list this week is Travis Bazzana, second baseman on the Cleveland Guardians. Bazzana was number 1 overall pick 2 years ago in a draft that's produced a lot of elite talent, but he's finally gotten the call up to the Guardians. As of recording this video on Friday afternoon, Bazzana's only played 2 major league games. He still doesn't have a hit yet. He also made this really bad error, but he was respected enough by the Rays to get intentionally walked in his major league debut. But again, not enough happening right now at the major league level for us to really glean anything important about Bazzana. So I want to take a deep dive through some of his minor league stats here and let you guys know why you should pick him up. As always, I want to shout out the legend Prospect Savant for this beautiful graphic right here. His website and Twitter account linked in the description. Just checking out some of Bazzana's stuff. We can see that he hits the ball hard, but not super hard. The exit velocities I would characterize as good, not great. That would tell me the power is fine. Again, not elite. But on top of that, the big carrying tool for Bazzana, I think is going to make him a very, very high floor major league player, is his patience and his great plate discipline. He doesn't like to expand the strike zone. In AAA, he wasn't swinging very often, but he was still going after pitches in the zone, a league average amount. And when he went after a pitch, he makes tons of contact. And he's really good at maximizing that contact by knowing how to get his barrel on the ball. That was the thing that made Bazzana such an intriguing prospect out of Oregon State when he had some of the better college baseball seasons I can ever remember. Just this otherworldly barrel control for a player that really rarely ever swung at a pitch he could not do damage on. And again, just talking about that power, he's done a lot to increase his power. He also spent time this winter at Driveline. The max exit velocity of 110, again, that hits at good power, not great power. But the way he can barrel it up is really impressive. And he does have a nice cluster of hard hit balls this season at AAA around that 110. So it's not like it was just a one-off. I think there is at least 20 homer power in Bazzana's bat. But at the same time, he's not really pulling those fly balls. We're going to see a lot of doubles in the left center gap for the left-handed Bazzana. But that contact rate is going to be something that I'm going to be watching at the major league level. He did a lot of good work this year especially, proving that that hit tool looked like it was something that could not be a carrying tool, but be at least major league caliber. Last year wasn't so good, but he did suffer through 2 oblique strains in the minor leagues last year, which I think definitely hurt his ability to literally put his bat on the ball. Still had a good season, still ran really high on base percentage. Those things are unquestionably in place for Bazzana as a major leaguer. But at the same time, the speed is legit. Again, that on base ability is legit. I think the hit tool is getting better, and he's way more pop right now than he did even a year ago. I really like him to possibly be a top 10 second baseman rest of season. I'm going to stand on that. I think this is a very good player, even though, again, he has been overshadowed by some other superstars he was drafted ahead of. Now, before we get to the next player, a word from today's sponsor. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. And if you guys are not on Prize Picks yet, here's why you should be. The app is super simple. You just pick more or less on a few player stats, like your lineup, and you're in. That's it. No complicated strategies, no confusing interfaces, just you, your sports knowledge, and your picks. Right now, I'm looking to make a lineup for some Game 7 NBA action on Sunday, and I'm hot after winning on Friday night with Cade Cunningham having a huge second half for the Pistons after an epic Magic collapse, and LeBron James just doing it all for the Lakers, advancing on. So for Sunday, I'm rolling with Cade Cunningham again, more than 24.5 points. I think the Pistons make this comeback, get it done, avoid the big collapse. Plus a classic James Harden Game 7 choke, less than 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists, plus Scottie Barnes on the Raptors doing it all with more than 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists for himself. Also, you guys can follow me in the app so you can see my picks before I even tell you about them here. The best part, if you're a new user, you can get $50 in lineups just for playing your first $5 lineup. All you have to do is download the Prize Picks app, sign up with the promo code HMA, and you're good to go. As always, the link for that is in the description. So download the Prize Picks app, sign up with promo code HMA, play your first $5 lineup, boom, you get that promotion. And Prize Picks is available in most states, Florida, Texas, California, of course, our beloved New York. So check it out, use code HMA, and please only play if you know you can do so responsibly. Next up on the big list is Cubs hitter Mo Ballesteros. And I say hitter because Ballesteros has only been in the field 1 time this year. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But this guy's a masher. Can't ignore him anymore. Right now, he's simply one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. The stats up there are unbelievably good. His Baseball Savant page I'm showing you guys right now is absolutely gorgeous as well. He hits the ball very hard, very regularly, and I am impressed how he's risen his bat speed this year. And a big reason he's done so is because he's lengthened his swing. But the swing is still not even long relative to the Major League average, so he can maintain that very high contact rate and there's burgeoning power that's turning Ballesteros into a borderline star at this point. And again, his stats right now speak for themselves. I am impressed by Ballesteros that he was able to follow up a really good small sample debut late last season where he had nearly a 300, 400, 500 slash line and about 70 plate appearances. And I think a big reason that he has been able to even improve on what he did last year in that small sample is the way he's now going out to attack the ball. I think the rising bat speed's helped out as well, but his intercept point is a few inches further out in front of the plate. He's a higher attack angle, which helps him lift and pull the ball, both of those things, much more often. And all this is backed up by what was truly an elite minor league profile. Last year at AAA, he had the 120 WRC plus at the level at just 21 years old, so significantly younger than the average age at that level, and he still was 20% better than league average with the bat. And on top of that, shout out prospect Savant again, this gorgeous page last year showing how good, again, the batted ball data and the hit tool was at AAA. He's just taken all this to the major leagues and, again, improved upon those skills already. If we had to poke a few holes in Ballesteros' games, that he is a bit of a free swinger. He loves to chase a pitch out of the zone, but at the same time, he's rightfully aggressive on the pitches in the zone. He knows he's up there to do damage, and he's also not a free swinger to the point where it totally destroys his plate discipline. He knows how to take a walk. He's been league average in that realm so far this season. The other thing that hurts Ballesteros, especially from a fantasy baseball perspective, is he doesn't have a position. I mentioned the fact he's only played in the field one time this year. It was actually last week, the first time he's gotten into a game of catcher, which is important because right now most of our fantasy leagues, I think unless you guys play on Yahoo, Ballesteros is only UT eligible. So that means his bat really needs to carry a lot of weight to be relevant in most of our leagues. Right now it is. The other thing that stops him is that the Cubs do not play him against left-handed pitching, but this week, the Cubs have a 7-game week and they're facing 6 righties. So I'm very bullish on Ballesteros. I really think there's no issues with the bat. I see a 25 home run guy who's going to run better than 800 OPS this season, and most of our leagues, even single utility spot leagues, I think that's valuable. Right now, fun one, kind of weird one, but a player I really, really like, Sam Antonacci, second baseman, outfielder, moves around the field a lot for the Chicago White Sox. Bottom line, I'm just a big fan of watching this dude play baseball. First off, he's my Italian brother, love my paisans, but at the same time, this dude is just a rat in the batter's box. Pitchers hate to face Sam Antonacci because he does not swing and miss, he does not strike out, and he very rarely chases any pitch outside the strike zone. He's a really, really tough out, really pesky at bat, but at the same time, he doesn't swing very often. That's kind of the thing that he took to the big leagues with him, a very, 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 very patient approach. But pitchers have not come to challenge him yet, and I think that's because his power deserves to be respected, I think a little bit more than it is right now in the fantasy baseball circles. Mainly because while he doesn't hit the ball hard at all, like he does not hit the ball hard at all, he has an unbelievable knack for lifting and pulling it. For a smaller player like himself, again, with no top-end exit velocities whatsoever, I think this game power is going to play. We saw it in the World Baseball Classic. We saw it over the last 12 months as he's really added a lot of power. His minor league stats have jumped up a lot. I still don't think we're ever going to get like a 20-homer player here, but there's someone that stole 50 bases in the minor leagues last year, and I see him right now as kind of a Brendan Donovan with more speed fantasy comp. Right now, in most of our fantasy leagues, Antonacci is eligible at second base, third base, and the outfield. Right there, it's a very valuable chess piece to move around your roster. And on top of that, the uber patience, attacking in the zone, making tons of contact in the zone, and having the ability to scoop, lift, and pull those fly balls will help his game power play up much more so than his raw power. Through the rest of the season, if he winds up playing on a 10-homer pace with 30 stolen bases and something like a 280, 290 average that bears out like a 760, 780 OPS, that's a really good player, one that'll be valuable in 12-team leagues. And while he is a lefty, he doesn't start against all lefties, but he started against 3 of the 6 lefties the White Sox have faced since he was called up. So I like Antonacci as mostly an everyday player you can move around, who I think right now is going to sneak up on people just because the approach is so good. And again, he's one of those baseball rats that we love to watch. Next up on the big list is Cade Cavalli. Another pitcher I probably like more than I should. Maybe it's the Italian thing again, I'm not sure, but I just really like Cavalli's stuff. I like the way the strikeout rate has gone up big time this year, and I kind of just like the way that he pitches mean, especially against righties where he just floods the zone with 2-seamers and 4-seamers, challenges guys to hit it, and then both against them and left-handed batters, he lets his knuckle curveball sing. That's his out pitch. That's a swing and miss pitch. If that pitch is on, Cade Cavalli's a very good pitcher. The problem is sometimes that pitch is not on, and that's really his only swing and miss offering at the moment. He's developed a new sweeper this season that's really not missing bats yet. I think he needs to refine the touch of it, the command of it, maybe even his tunneling better, conceal that pitch better when it's coming, because hitters are either laying off it or making contact with it. But again, recently he's been hot. He's riding back-to-back 10 strikeout games, and he did something really crazy in his last start against the Mets. The Nationals gave him a huge lead to put up a crooked number against David Peterson and Sean Manaea, who just completely sucked. But once he got that big lead, Cade Cavalli closed his start with 24 consecutive strikes. That is the only time a pitcher has ended their outing with 24 consecutive strikes since the year 2000 per Elias. It was just amazing. And again, I mentioned the fact that Cavalli pitches mean, floods the fastball, especially against the righties with the 4-seamers and the 2-seamers. He can serve to be a little bit more of a strike thrower. He does sit around 97 miles per hour, but those pitches don't miss bats. He does walk a lot of hitters. He'll run a very high whip. And again, when that knuckle curve is not on, until this sweeper really comes around, He's not missing bats, and it really affects his ceiling, and it gives him not a very good floor. But I think we're really seeing the improvement of skills here. He's fought so hard to get back from the litany of injuries he's had over the last few seasons, and his next two starts are against the Twins and the Marlins. So I'm in on Cavalli at least for the next few weeks. Let's see if he can sustain this, get the command a little better, and we're going to be watching very closely for the swing and miss rate on that sweeper. Now, last up on the big list is Cole Young, second baseman on the Mariners. Huge week for second baseman. Just 3 of the 5 guys on the big list are second baseman, but it's a very weak position. So I wanted to highlight some exciting, new, or possibly options you guys haven't noticed yet, because I think all of these guys profile, maybe not Antonacci, maybe more like a top 12, but Young especially, a top 10 second baseman easy the rest of the season. You guys see the stats on top. Right now, he's the 7th ranked second baseman according to the Fangraphs Player Rater, which rates players based on how much value they've accumulated in 5x5 rotisserie leagues. And some reasons I think Young can actually sustain this great production for the rest of the year. First off, the guy has real power, plus bat speed relative to his very short swing. He can really lift the ball, adept at pulling it. 114 max exit velocity last year again, hinting to us that he has plus raw power. You also see the 460-foot moonshot home run. Look at this thing. Absolutely crushed it. On top of that, his swing decisions are totally fine. They're not like the greatest skill in the world, but they're also not something that pull him away from anything. He doesn't have a problem with strikeouts. He takes his walks. He doesn't swing and miss a ton. He doesn't chase pitches out of the zone a ton. Like, it's just a very, very solid, sturdy profile for a good player who was considered a very high-end prospect, struggled a lot as a rookie last year, was now coming back, looks way more comfortable in the league, playing great defense now when he didn't play very good defense last season. He's just a really solid ball player who, again, I think very comfortably will be a top 10 second baseman rest of season. Now, that's the end of the big list, but like I told you guys at the top, we're going to have breakout sections now that could help you based on any kind of league you play in, starting off with the players who should be rostered more in shallow leagues, focusing a lot more on young potential breakout players from this point on this season, this week in this segment, but not right at the top. First off, Brent Rooker. I know it's been a bad start. I know he was injured. Brent Rooker should not be rostered in only 79% of leagues. Brent Rooker, to me, still profiles a top 15 outfielder moving forward. Get Brent Rooker on your team if he's not. Even if you guys play in a 6-team, 8-team league, Brent Rooker should be on rosters. Same goes for Emmett Sheehan. Really getting the sea legs back under him. Velocity looks good. Not rostered enough. Trey Savage came back off the injured list last week. Looked really good. I think he's going to cruise in that Blue Jays rotation. Connor Griffin, that rostership rate keeps rising. It's got to go even higher. Connor Griffin has unreal potential for the rest of the year. Just based on the game theory of it all, he should be on a roster in basically every kind of league. Bubba Chandler, it's not been so good this year. That's my guy. I have him on every single fantasy team I'm playing on. I know he's not throwing enough strikes. Got a 2-start week coming up against the Diamondbacks and the Giants. I'm riding heavily with Bubba Chandler this week. Please don't disappoint me, Bubba. Please throw strikes. Please throw strikes. Ivan Herrera, 33% roster in the Cardinals. Fantastic hitter and just picked up catcher eligibility, so that's a big piece there. Josh Young and the Rangers. I've kind of missed the opportunity to talk about Young because he's broken out. I didn't put him on the list last week. Kind of just a miss by me, but one of the best hitters in baseball right now. I don't know how it sustains. He's not pulling the ball enough, but he's hitting it hard. He's making tons of contact. Love what I'm seeing right now. Then just a couple young players. Again, you want on your roster just in case the super breakout happens. Jack Caglione, Carter Jensen, Samuel Basallo. Just put those guys on your team if they're not. Again, the game theory of it all, one guy in that trio right there is going to wind up having like an all-star caliber season from this point forward. So you kind of just want to stash them on your benches for when it happens. It might even be happening for Basallo right now. Guy's red hot. Next up is the closer report, where I'm going to run around the league and tell you guys who's getting saves on which teams, because this is the craziest closer year I can ever remember in baseball. And just starting out, right before I started recording this, Ryan Helsley went on the injured list. I think it was elbow or shoulder inflammation, one of the two. So the saves on the Orioles are going to go to either Anthony Nunez or Rico Garcia. I don't know who it's going to be yet because this just happened, but both those guys have nasty stuff. Both those guys are having very nice seasons. They'll probably just maybe committee for saves, but I know the saves will come from at least one of those two guys. Then you have Gus Varland. He's taken over the closer job in Washington. Team's actually winning some games. Jack Perkins is nasty, incredible stuff. He's a multi-inning reliever on the Athletics. He gets saves, but because he's a multi-inning reliever, he's not available every day, every other day when you might need a save. He usually needs 2 days off because he's usually throwing multiple innings. He's going to get a lot of the saves, but I also still think Mark Leiter or Joe Kuno will get some saves as well over there. Louis Varland is nasty. He's taken over the closer job in Toronto. One of just the best relievers in baseball, honestly. Daniel Palenti is about to come off the injured list for the Cubs, getting back right into their closer role. Kenley Jansen's blown a few saves lately, and Kyle Finnegan looks nasty. So if you're in a very deep league and you want to close their spec, I think Kyle Finnegan's not the worst idea. The Dodgers bullpen's just a total mess right now. They've also only had one converted save since Edwin Diaz went on the injured list. Now went to Tanner Scott, but now Tanner Scott's pitched some 7th innings. He also had some not so good outings. I don't know. That's kind of just a messy situation. Jacob Latz seems like he's taken over the closer job in Texas. And also Peter Fairbanks just went on the injured list for the Marlins since that happened. Tyler Phillips has gotten a save, and Calvin Fauché has gotten a save. So those guys probably wind up splitting that role. And lastly, I want to shout out Antonio Senzatella. I think Victor Vodnik is still getting a lot of the saves in Colorado. Seth Halverson, I think, is coming off the injured list soon. I digress, though, because I think Senzatella has the best stuff for that crew. He's running this fastball triangle right now with sinkers, four-seamers, and cutters. He looks really gross. The only problem is he pitches in Colorado. Next up here, we have the stash list of guys either returning from injury injuries are in the minor leagues right now, who you guys should be considering, especially in slightly deeper leagues. Starting off, Logan Henderson. Brandon Woodruff went on the injured list on Friday after he couldn't even touch 87 his start on Thursday. I don't know what's going to happen to him. He has shoulder inflammation, doesn't look good. I expect Logan Henderson to possibly get a look over the next few weeks. Jake Mizorowski also, I'm seeing now, just left his start on Friday with a trainer. So it looks like Logan Henderson has got a 30% strikeout rate, 1 ERA in AAA. Likely comes up. When he comes up, he'll be on the big list. I'll give you guys a huge scouting report on him. Nick Lodolo also has probably 1 or 2 rehab starts left before he's back in the Reds rotation. He's nasty. And then now to shout out the best prospects in the upper minors right now: Bryce Eldridge, Colt Emerson, Max Clark, Emmanuel Rodriguez, and AJ Ewing, recently promoted for the Mets from AA to AAA. All those guys are ripping the cover off the ball in the upper minors. I think almost every single one of those guys, probably all 5 of those guys, get a shot to play some baseball in the major leagues this year. So if you have an NA spot in your leagues, guys to possibly stash there. Jared Jones working his way back for the Pirates. He'll do a very long rehab stint as he comes back from Tommy John surgery. First rehab start was hitting 100 miles an hour, so we love to see that. Bryce Miller working his way back as well. Then we have Robbie Snelling destroying AAA for the Marlins. I think Braxton Garrett gets the shot over him once the rotation spot opens in Miami. Also, just keep an eye on Brody Hopkins. The Rays have had some pitching injuries so far this year. Ryan Pepio's out for the year. Brody Hopkins has crazy stuff, but walks a lot of guys in AAA. He came over in the Randy Rose Ranch trade a few years ago. He's a name to watch. We're also probably going to get word soon that Jorge Polanco is coming back for the Mets soon. I think he's an underrated hitter. I think he's going to be valuable if he plays first base. He could be eligible at first and second in our leagues. And in very deep leagues, maybe consider stashing Hunter Dobbins. Came off the injured list from a torn ACL he sustained last year. Didn't pitch very well in this season in his Cardinals debut back in AAA. But I kind of like the stuff. I like the feel he has on the mound. I think he'll probably get a shot in the Cardinals rotation at some point this season. Now we have the deep league ads, starting out with Jason Dominguez, recalled by the Yankees recently with Giancarlo Stanton going on the IL. Then Jason had a problem. He had to go get a CAT scan. He seems okay. I think he'll be back in the lineup this week. I still like Jason Dominguez's skills. Jake Bennett called up by the Red Sox to start on Friday. I'm recording this midway through his start. He looks okay. Checking it out real quick. Pitched okay against the Astros. Didn't get a lot of strikeouts, but still missed a bunch of bats. He's a big funky lefty that's going to have a shot in that rotation with the injuries to Sonny Gray and Garrett Crochet. Then also on Friday night, way after I'm going to be done recording this video, Christian Scott back for the Mets to pitch against the Angels. I like Scott to stick in the Mets rotation. If he has a good start, he'll definitely be in the big list next week. He's one of my guys. Peter Lambert's been pretty nice so far for the Astros. He had just had a not so good start after 2 pretty good starts. I like the command. I like the four-seamer. I like the color on Peter Lambert. Foster Griffin's been a funky soft toss and lefty for the Nationals all year. I don't think he's going to keep getting away with it, but Foster Griffin is a guy in deeper leagues, so I can give a spot start to. MJ Melendez, Nathaniel Lowe, 2 reclamation projects, both ripping the cover off the ball right now. Lowe's playing most days. Melendez is playing against every single righty. I like those guys a lot in a deep league. I mentioned Logan Henderson possibly getting a look for the Brewers in the wake of the Brandon Woodruff injury. When Woodruff got injured, Shane Drowan, funky lefty that came over to them in the trade with the Red Sox this past offseason, pitched 4 nice innings. He doesn't miss tons of bats, but again, deep pitch mix, above average velocity for a lefty. The Brewers have devil magic. I think that could work out there. Griffin Jax is going to transition to becoming a starter. It's probably going to take a little while, but I like Jax's stuff, even though the results haven't been good over the last few years. Elmer Rodriguez on the Yankees. Got a look this week. I would like him if I thought he was staying in the rotation. He's got nasty stuff, but the Yankees are getting healthy very quickly, so kind of a wait and see, but a deep league flyer for sure. Then a couple guys have advocated dropping so far this year. Ernie Clement's on fire. Carson Bench is on fire. Both guys should definitely be rostered in deeper leagues. That's my bad guys. Hand up. Jesus Sanchez also still playing against every righty, and like a smattering of lefties for the Blue Jays, being a productive player. Nico Horner pulled up lame on Friday afternoon. I don't know the extent of that injury, but that could make Matt Shaw a very exciting option if Horner's meant to miss time. And right now, Vaughn Grissom is ripping the ball for the Angels. He has a 100% zone contact rate. So far, heading into his game on Friday, every time Vaughn Grissom this year has swung at a pitch in the strike zone, he's connected with it. I'm taking a wait-and-see approach, but Vaughn Grissom is a guy that there could definitely be intrigue. And now I've given you guys some players to add, so I have to give you some to drop. One sad one of my guys, Ryan Pepio. I've been advocating dropping him for a few weeks now because all the news coming out was just terrifying. Wasn't trusting what the Rays people were saying at all, but now it's official. He's out for the season. It's a real shame. Same with my guy, Mick Abel. You guys keep talking to me about stashing Abel. I like that because I love Abel. I gave him a huge profile on this video a few weeks ago. But when he has shoulder inflammation, we have nothing about him returning to throwing. It's just probably not even worth an IL spot right now if your roster is crunched. If you have the IL spot, sure, why not? But if the roster is crunched, don't feel bad dropping him. Same goes for Kodai Senga. He looks terrible. Now he's on the IL with a back thing. Ronaldo Lopez went to the Braves bullpen. He also didn't look very good. Jarren Duran, I might advocate dropping Jarren Duran in a very shallow league. He looks dreadful this year. Looks like the game's a little bit in his head. I don't know what's going to wind up happening to him and the Red Sox in general, but I'm way out in Duran. Eduardo Rodriguez carried the World Baseball Classic momentum early in the season. Now he's back to being Eduardo Rodriguez. He's now very good. Luis Robert, too. I don't know if I can advocate stashing him in IL. He looked really good for a week and a half. Then he looked really bad. Now he's injured with a really scary lumbar disc herniation. I don't want to deal with that. Justin Steele had a massive setback. Now we're not seeing him until after the All-Star break at best. This is why it's very hard to stash players with this series of injuries. Always kind of a downside to it. And right now, if I need an IL spot and I'm stashing Steele, which I was in a few leagues, I have dropped him in a few places. And lastly, Zach Allen just looks terrible again. Not really worth holding on to. But all right, guys, another great waiver video in the books. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Just a little channel update for you guys. I'm going to start to change the content up on this channel a little bit. I love fantasy baseball. If you guys are watching, you love fantasy baseball as well. But from doing these videos for a full year now, more than a full year, it's really easy to see where fantasy baseball interest kind of falls off. And it's right around this time of year once we get to the middle of May. This channel's grown a lot. And this winter, you guys saw me mix in a lot more regular baseball content. I'm going to start doing that as well. I don't know if I'm going to experiment with like video essays or anything like that. I've done like 1 or 2 of those in the past, but more general baseball content, more around the league, maybe some more prospect stuff. You guys have really liked when I've done that. So just keep an eye on that. This waiver video will likely stay on Saturdays or Sundays, basically through most of the season, but your boys got sponsors now. This is actually becoming a real part of my professional life. It's kind of amazing. Thank you guys all for the support. It's helped me grow a lot, but I want to keep getting these views up. I want to keep this channel growing. And I think a big way to do that is to, again, start mixing and matching a little bit more fantasy content and also regular baseball content. But if you guys have any ideas, anything you guys want me to talk about, tell me in the comments. Let me know anything. And again, personalized fantasy advice for members. But thank you so much. I'll see you next time.